for you. Today we'll be talking about the United to the Delta Status Match Challenge, how I got the 3-month complimentary Delta status, and how I plan to retain it. If you're new to the channel, my name is Abhilash, this is Credit Debit with Abhi, and like we do in all of our videos, without further ado, let's dive in. I talked about trying to do a status match challenge in one of my previous videos that I'll link up there. My goal was to move my United status over to Delta. For quick context, I have Premier Platinum with United, and the way this year is going, I don't think I'm going to be able to retain that status. So my strategy was to move my status over from United to Delta and retain that status all the way through end of next year. We'll talk about how to accomplish that in the next section, so stay tuned. The first step in ensuring that you're able to sign up for the Status Match Challenge is to go to Delta's website and enroll for the Status Match Challenge. You'll be asked for 2 documentations. Number 1 is going to be the membership card that proves your status with the other airline, in this case United Airlines. And number 2 is your activity with that airline. Now you can submit digital copies of this, and the reason they are looking for activity with the airline is because they want to make sure that when they give you the status, you're going to continue bringing them business. And the way the status match works between United and Delta is that if you have silver, you're matched over to silver. If you have gold, you're matched over to gold. And if you have platinum with United, you're matched over to platinum on Delta. I send the request through in mid-July. You receive a confirmation stating that they'll take about 5 business days to get back to you with a response. Now, if you submitted the documentation properly, you should receive a confirmation email of your status match within 5 business days. Now, getting the activity tracker from United is actually a little tricky. What I ended up doing was taking screenshots of all my activity with United, copying that over to a document, and then converting the document into a PDF and submitting into Delta. Let me know in the comments below if you have a better process to do that. Like I mentioned, I got confirmation from Delta notifying me that I have status with Delta for 3 months. Now, this is where, if you were strategic with your application in the first process, you can maintain Delta status for about 1.5 years from the time of your application. Let me tell you how. So if you make your application for the status match after July, you get the status with Delta for 3 months. Within those 3 months, you have a minimum requirement. In the case of Platinum, it's 18,750 MQMs and 3,000 MQDs. These are medallion qualifying miles and medallion qualifying dollars, which is Delta speak for how many miles you've flown with the airline and how much money you've spent with the airline. Now, if you hit the MQM and the MQD threshold, you can maintain your platinum status all the way through end of the next year. So in my case, since I applied in July of 2023, if I hit the MQM and the MQD thresholds, I'll be able to keep platinum status all the way through January of 2025. So if you're thinking about a Delta Status Match Challenge, that's the one insight that you need to remember, which is you need to apply for the status match after July to maximize the benefit of your status with the other airline. So great, you have status with Delta. What happens after that? What are the benefits associated with Delta Platinum status? One of the flagship benefits is the unlimited upgrades, especially on domestic flights where you're flying to non-Delta hubs. This can come in really handy. Let's say you book a ticket in the main cabin, you can upgrade to Comfort Plus for yourself and a companion sometime after initially booking your tickets. You can also get bumped up to first class or Delta One within the United States. I'll talk about this in a second, but in doing my mileage run, I've already gotten upgraded on 2 of my flight segments in flying to Ohio and back. Bear in mind that the first class and the Delta One upgrades can happen up to 5 days before the date of the flight. You have other benefits like waived change fee on the same day. You can earn up to 9 miles per dollar spent on Delta, and every Delta mile can be valued between 1 to 1.2 cents per point. Now, if you have a Delta card, you can value that slightly higher because of the 15% discount that you get on miles. And if you do not know what I'm talking about, check out my video up here. You also get preferential Clear membership rates. Clear membership basically facilitates ID verification and gets you straight into your security check. You also get MQM rollover, which basically means that in a year, if you need about 75,000 MQMs to qualify for Platinum, this is through normal flying and not through a Delta Status Match Challenge. Let's say over the course of the year, you've accumulated 100,000 MQMs. Since you only needed 75,000 MQMs and you accumulated 100,000 MQMs, the difference between the two, which is about 25,000 MQMs, will roll over to the next year. Now, there's also a flagship benefit for Platinum and Diamond Medallion members. And the one I would select here of all the options for Platinum Medallion members is the 4 regional upgrade certificates. Now again, note that this is not applicable during the 3-month complimentary Platinum status period. Now I keep on referring to MQDs and MQMs and not MQS, which is the medallion qualifying segments, because most people, unless you're in consulting, don't fly as much. In this next section, let's quickly talk about The strategy to retain your platinum status for a longer duration through July of this year to Jan 2025. To retain the platinum status, I have to do 3,000 MQDs and 18,750 MQMs. I knew when I signed up for the status match challenge that I had 2 trips coming up. One was to Ohio and back from New York, and the other one was to India and back. Now if I combine both of these trips, I'll easily be hitting the MQD and the MQM requirements. The Ohio trip is with Delta, and the India trip is with Air France and KLM, which are Delta partners. How do I know when booking the flight if I'm hitting a particular MQM and MQD threshold? It's pretty easy on the Delta website. As you're going through the booking process, right where the checkout is, right at the bottom of that page, you'll be able to see the MQMs and the MQDs you'd accrue if you took the trip. The SD card didn't record the last part of the video, so here I am. If you like this video, smash that like button. This is the second time watching a video. Consider subscribing. And like always, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.